What if I told you there's a city where you could be fined just for drinking water, arrested for protesting, even if you're alone? And yes, where a woman can legally kill her cheating husband, but only with her bare hands. Welcome to Hong Kong, a glistening city of skyscrapers, Michelin-starred restaurants, and some of the strangest laws you've ever heard. Over the next few minutes, we're diving deep into the weird, wacky, and occasionally concerning legal landscape of Hong Kong. Buckle up, because things are about to get strange. Metropolitan city. Hong Kong's MTR, their subway system, is a marvel of modern engineering. It's clean, it's efficient, it's practically surgically sterile. But maintaining that pristine environment requires a certain level of, let's call it dietary discipline. Because on the MTR, eating or drinking is strictly prohibited. I'm not just talking about full-blown meals here. Even a sneaky bag of chips or a sip of water could land you a hefty fine. And yes, before you ask, that includes water bottles. Apparently, even the act of unscrewing a cap and taking a tiny, life-giving sip is enough to contaminate the sanctity of the MTR. Now, I understand the desire for cleanliness. I'm not a monster. But this law seems a bit excessive. Imagine being stuck on a packed train during a humid Hong Kong summer, sweat dripping down your back, and you can't even take a sip of water without risking the wrath of the MTR police. It's enough to make you wonder if they pump the air out of the tunnels between stations just to make sure no rogue food particles dare to linger. So, if you ever find yourself riding the rails in Hong Kong, remember, hydration is a privilege, not a right. And if you absolutely must quench your thirst, might I suggest waiting until you're safely above ground, preferably within spitting distance of a trash can. Now let's talk about freedom of speech, or rather, the curious case of its absence in certain parts of Hong Kong life. You see, in Hong Kong, even protesting alone can land you in hot water. That's right, you heard me correctly. Even if you're a party of one, standing on a soapbox, politely expressing your dissatisfaction with, say, the price of milk tea or the latest Cantopop earworm, you technically need a permit. Without it, you're engaging in an unlawful assembly. And yes, I know, the irony of that term is not lost on me. It's like calling a one-man band a cacophony. This law, my friends, is a masterpiece of bureaucratic absurdity. It takes the very concept of peaceful protest and wraps it in so much red tape that it practically suffocates. And the truly chilling part? This law isn't just some dusty relic from a bygone era, it's actively enforced, used to silence dissent and stifle even the mildest forms of individual expression. So much for one country, two systems, eh? It seems that in Hong Kong, even your right to stand alone and voice your opinion is subject to the whims of the state. Chapter 4, Spitting the $600 Loogie. Let's move on to something a little less political and a lot more phlegmy. See, Hong Kong takes public hygiene very, very seriously, and nothing says I respect public spaces like a hefty fine for spitting. Forget jaywalking or littering. In Hong Kong, launching a loogie onto the sidewalk will cost you a whopping 5,000 Hong Kong dollars. That's roughly $600 for those of you keeping track at home. This anti-spitting crusade was launched in the wake of the SARS epidemic in the early 2000s, and while I understand the desire to prevent the spread of infectious diseases, this law feels a bit like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut, or perhaps a wad of used tissues. But hey, at least it's effective. The streets of Hong Kong are remarkably spit-free. Of course, it could also be that people are just terrified of accidentally swallowing their phlegm and then being slapped with a fine for littering from the inside. So, if you ever feel the urge to clear your sinuses in Hong Kong, might I suggest investing in a handkerchief? Or, just swallow your pride and your saliva and find a trash can. Trash. Chapter 5. Silent night every night? You know what really livens up a city? Street musicians, the soulful strum of a guitar, the rhythmic beat of a drum, the dulcet tones of someone butchering Wonderwall on a ukulele. It's all part of the urban tapestry. Unless you're in Hong Kong, where spontaneous public performances are about as welcome as a swarm of locusts at a picnic. That's right, even if you just want to whip out your trusty harmonica and serenade passers-by with your rendition of Mary Had a Little Lamb, you technically need a permit. Singing, dancing, playing an instrument, all of these activities fall under the watchful gaze of Hong Kong's noise pollution laws. And while I understand the need to prevent excessive noise, this law seems a bit broad. Imagine a group of friends singing Happy Birthday in a park, only to be interrupted by a stern-faced official demanding to see their performance license. It's the kind of scenario that wouldn't feel out of place in a dystopian novel about government overreach. So if you find yourself in Hong Kong with the urge to burst into song, you might want to book a karaoke room instead. It's probably safer that way. Chapter 6. Now let's talk about love, or at least the public display thereof. Because in Hong Kong, even a simple kiss can land you in hot water. Now there's no official law against kissing in public. But before you grab your significant other and engage in a passionate embrace, be warned. Hong Kong authorities have a rather fluid definition of public indecency. A lingering kiss on a train platform might as well be dry humping a statue of Queen Victoria as far as they're concerned. A tender embrace in a crowded park? You're practically auditioning for a starring role in an adult film. And while it's unlikely that a quick peck on the cheek will land you in jail, it's not unheard of for couples to receive warnings or even police attention for excessive displays of affection. It seems that in Hong Kong, the line between public affection and public nuisance is about as clear as a glass of milk tea after someone stirred it with their finger. So, if you're feeling amorous in Hong Kong, might I suggest finding a nice private karaoke room? It's probably safer that way. And hey, you can always serenade your sweetheart with a rousing rendition of My Heart Will Go On if the mood strikes. Chapter 7. Let's move on from matters of the heart to matters of the laundry basket. Because in Hong Kong, even the way you hang your clothes can get you in trouble. Now, many older apartment buildings in Hong Kong lack in-unit laundry facilities. So, it's common practice for residents to hang their clothes out to dry on bamboo poles extending from their windows. It's a practical solution to a space constraint, and it adds a certain je ne sais quoi to the urban landscape. But be warned, my friends, this seemingly mundane act of laundry drying is fraught with peril. Hang your clothes too far out, and you risk encroaching on public space, incurring the wrath of your neighbors, and possibly even receiving a fine. Let a single drop of water fall from your freshly laundered garments onto the sidewalk below, and you've committed a grave offense against public hygiene. Some buildings even have designated laundry inspectors who patrol the premises, on the lookout for any violations of the laundry code. It's like a homeowners association meeting gone horribly, horribly wrong. So if you ever find yourself doing laundry in Hong Kong, remember, this isn't your college dorm room. Treat your laundry like a precious, potentially offensive work of art, and for heaven's sake, make sure it doesn't drip. Chapter 8. And finally, let's end our whirlwind tour of Hong Kong's legal quirks with a tale of tradition, respect for the dead, and counterfeit currency laws. Burning ghost money, or joss paper, is a common practice in many East Asian cultures. It's a way of honoring deceased loved ones by providing them with symbolic offerings in the afterlife. Think of it as a spiritual care package filled with paper money, clothes, and even miniature appliances. But in Hong Kong, even this ancient tradition isn't immune to the long arm of the law. You see, if the ghost money you're burning looks too much like real currency, you could be accused of counterfeiting. That's right, the authorities have apparently mistaken enough fake money for the real deal to warrant cracking down on overly realistic joss paper. It's enough to make you wonder if there's a special unit within the Hong Kong police force dedicated solely to investigating financial crimes committed against ghosts. So, if you're planning on sending any spiritual remittances to the great beyond while in Hong Kong, make sure the bills are clearly marked as fake. Otherwise, you might find yourself explaining to a judge why you're trying to defraud the afterlife. From love and death to music and laundry, Hong Kong's laws cover it all. Some protect the city's image, some silence its people, and some are just downright bizarre. So now I ask you, is Hong Kong one of the most lawful cities in the world, or the most quietly sinful? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy exploring the strange sides of countries around the world, make sure to subscribe, because the world is weirder than you think.